Valley Club Battleworld is almost here. What do you and your lights need to do to prep for it right now? There's gonna be some sweet rewards, including that big boss battle for Null. We got some data mines that we're discussing, also some experiences from the playtest, and if you're ready for all of that, so you can prep for it right now, then Valley Club, you know what to do. Find that like button and let's go smash it. And welcome back to the ValleyFlyin channel. I am ValleyFlyin. I hope you are having an excellent day. This video is all about Battleworld, what you and your lights need to do to prep for it right now. Before we get to all that information, I do want to remind you guys, if you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button for more Marvel Strike Force content. At least 5 Marvel Strike Force videos per week on the channel. Reveal videos like this, gameplay videos, news videos, question and answer videos, everything to help your experience in Marvel Strike Force. Well, let's go right into the footage from Battleworld. Now, there was a playtest. Unfortunately, I was out of town during the original playtest and I wasn't able to get on it, but I did see a lot of the feedback from a lot of the envoys, and we weren't able to share any footage from the playtest. So we do have some videos that we're going to share, and this is what Battleworld will look like when it eventually goes in the game as you launch the game, or as you launch the mode. This is where you enter. And you see these different zones here. You get 6 zones here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The final day is where you face Null. So you have 6, and you have to beat each of these sections. You have 6 attempts, 1 day to beat each of these. And if you don't finish, you do keep your victory points, and you see the victory points here. These I believe these numbers for victory points are just placeholders, and these numbers aren't final, but you keep your victory points if you aren't able to clear like zone 1. And as you see right here, there is a timer on each zone. Each timer lasts for 24 hours. So if you beat each zone, you get all the victory points within that 24 hours. You still have to wait for that 24 hours to complete it for that next zone to unlock. Now, when you go into each of these individual zones, you see there's these missions here. So the previous playtest, there was actually 6 zones. Now there's 5 zones. So one full zone, one full mission did get eliminated. And what one of the missions did get converted to was this Herald mission, which is kind of like a single wave mini boss mission. It will feature Hive Mind. I'm not sure if that's going to feature Hive Mind for the entire season of Null or just for the first few weeks or so. But the Herald missions, they will not use our Both health bar to technology visuals. And each Herald mission will include a simple but fun in-game mechanic for players to act with. And what these changes do, reducing these missions, and change the total number of waves per zone. Went from 30 that you need to complete to 19 each day. So this makes it easier and easier for non-full alliances to get through some of these zones. They also said that the team is working on balancing the existing missions with the aim of reducing the total time to complete each mission. That was some of the feedback that the envoys had in their initial playtest. It was very boring. Some of these missions, they didn't have enough modifiers. It was like auto and then just complete it. So that they're rebalancing this stuff to make some more unique mechanics on each of these missions. I do like that they took a lot of the feedback from the envoys and are implementing it into some of these future designs of Battleworld. Now, each of these missions have different battles that you need to do, and each battle is going to start on wave 1. There are, I believe, 5 or 6 waves of enemies that you need to complete. And if you complete all of the waves of each of all the enemies, you beat all of them, you're going to get the max points for that. However, if you're not able to complete each wave, well, you are able to get partial points for this, and you're going to get the victory points based on the highest amount of waves that you complete. So if, let's say, you go in with one of your teams, you could beat 4 waves of a node, well, you'll get points based on clearing 4 waves. You go in with your next team and you start again at wave 1 and you could beat 3 waves. Well, because you've already gotten the points for the first 3 waves because of your first attempt that you completed 4 waves, well, you're not going to get the points again. But let's say you go in with your 3rd attempt and you get 5 waves of enemies, you get the points based on beating 5 waves. Well, you're going to get the points for that, not based on the points of the 4 or the 3. It's going to be based on your highest attempts. So knowing that, you can go in and quit out of the battles and not use your attempts. Make sure you use your highest attempt per day. And it does take an attempt if you time out of a battle. I do believe that the timers for each of these battles is 6 minutes, and that still is a problem clearing all these waves, especially with all these animations. So that does count if you time out of a battle. Also, if you die, that does count as an attempt. So use your attempts wisely on each of these missions and strategize how you're going to use each of these teams, because once you use it in a mission, you can't use it in another mission, and you can't use it to place characters for the special ops. And moving into the special ops, there are certain victory point thresholds based on the number of characters that you and your people in your alliance will place on defense. Again, I wouldn't place any of these characters in the beginning. I would do all your normal missions first. Then after you complete your normal missions, go in and place any extra characters in the special missions just for any extra points. Now, the good thing about this, if you just complete the normal missions, these special ops missions are kind of bonus points, more for the leaderboards and stuff. You can get to the next zones without doing these special ops missions, the way I understand it. And each of these special ops has a different requirement. This example has 3 yellow stars as a requirement, and you could place different characters. It does look like you could place 10 characters on a daily basis. And if we go into a different zone, we'll see that this particular special ops has a gear tier requirement of gear tier 15. So it does have different requirements. If you meet those requirements, you can place those characters and get points for that. But this should be a pretty simple mission, just kind of an overflow. So a couple other quick notes from the playtest before we move on to the data mines. A few things. There is no timer for these herald missions at the Cosmic. Like I said, these are kind of going to be like a mini boss mission before you get to null. One of the feedbacks from the envoys about these missions is that a lot of these initial missions were very boring. The boss fight with null was very, very fun. So they added this herald mission to add a little bit more fun into the initial missions as well. Also, some of the feedback from the envoys is that we started, or the envoys, the playtest, it started at the lowest difficulty, which meant that the first week was pretty much just simming it. Next week would have to go to the next difficulty. So now what they did, based on the playtest and the feedback, they're launching all but the highest difficulty already enabled, unlocked. Alliances will need to complete the second highest difficulty to unlock the most difficult tier. And that's because they wanted to avoid situations where alliances go into this something that is too hard for them as their first experience. So you're not able to do the highest difficulty. You will still need to unlock that, but you don't need to wait weeks and weeks and weeks. Well, let's move on to Reddit and some data mines. And of course, these data mines are still something to change. There was already some changes made from the first playtest to the second. I think there's going to be another playtest, so this could be some further changes that are made, but these are courtesy of brother Casper 20 hours ago on Reddit. And this is what, at least in the data mines, what characters are required for each of the special missions. In Zone 1, Old Man Logan, Black Bolt, Iron Man, Cosmic Ghost Rider, Super Skrull. You can place all these characters there. There are some spreadsheets here to make it a little easier. And the more of these characters you place on these special ops missions, the more points you're gonna get, the more victory points you're gonna get. However, doesn't look like it's needed to get to the next zone with these special ops missions. They just look like they're bonuses for the leaderboards. But again, thanks to brother Casper for data mining this. I will put a link to this down below. And in another data mine he did about a week ago, Casper talked about some data mines he did for the teams and the bonuses. There will be 6 zones. He talks about 5 zones here, but the devs actually count the null zone as a zone. So there's gonna be 6 zones. Special ops gives you more victory points. It doesn't unlock a special ability like in Swaga. 8 special ops per zone. Each special op has a requirement for you to donate characters. These range from very easy, like 3 yellow stars, as we've seen in an example, to gear 19 and 1 diamond. And according to the picture on the MSF site, you'll need 30 characters per spec op to get the points. The Alliance will need 30 gear 19 characters that aren't being used in the missions. Again, these are kind of bonus points. So place those characters on special ops after you've done the normal missions. If you do the normal missions, even if you don't complete all waves, I think there will be enough victory points in there to complete or go on to that next zone there. What he goes on to say, each zone has 5 missions. Beating each mission gives you victory points. One of those missions is going to be a Herald mission. One of them is a spec op, and one of them is an elite mission as well. So 2 normals, 1 spec op, 1 elite, and 1 Herald mission. And also says some of the missions will have some game mode bonuses active as well. These are some examples. Of course, these are subject to change, and I will put a link to this post down in the description of this video. But this mentions Zone 1 city characters, extra Cosmic Crucible game mode, bonus Team Superior 6, and on. So these, you can see some of the bonus here. Cosmic missions, bonus team is the Annihilators. Spider-Verse missions with some raid bonuses. Bonus team here is the Spider Society. The Cosmic section, raid bonuses, Bifrost mission, and Astral or Pegasus raid, with the Astral team getting some bonuses as well. So these are subject to change, but I will put a link down below on this just so you can kind of see what you could expect. These requirements may change, these bonuses may change, but this is pretty much how it's gonna look. And he goes and say, and it looks like there's 6 difficulties, and I think from the data mines it does look like there's 6 difficulties in the data mines, but I think there's only gonna be 5 difficulties. Each difficulty has a point threshold to unlock. we have to do the easiest difficulty, then we can unlock the next difficulty. To unlock the 6th difficulty, you need a certain score on the 5th difficulty, and so on and so on. To unlock the next tier, you need a certain score on the previous tier. Rewards are better in the higher difficulty. Null shards, at least from the data mines, look like they only come from the highest difficulty, and at least from the data mines, it looks like you get twice as many null shards from difficulty 6 rather than difficulty 5. And we also got new data mines yesterday from Brother Quickdraw. He says, based on my math, every 7 days, only at difficulty 6, which I think is going to be the 5th difficulty, but only at the highest difficulty, you get 10 shards per week. No shards in difficulty 5 and below, with null being 180 a shard unlock. Based on his math, it'd take 126 days at 100% difficulty unlock null. I'm not sure if this is the only place we're gonna get shards for him or not. This hasn't been confirmed by the devs, but it does suggest that in the data mines. Also, the difficulty 6 recommendations, which, like I said, I think it's only 5 difficulties, but the way it looks in the data mines, it looks like there's 6 difficulties. Minimum power recommendations, character level 100, gear tier 19, 7 yellow stars, 3 diamonds, ISO 8, tier 3, level 2. So these are recommendations, not requirements. And the good thing is it's recommendations, not requirements. Hopefully that means that even without these recommendations, you still could beat the highest difficulty of Battleworld. But that's what we know so far. Hopefully we could get some gameplay for you guys before Battleworld actually launches. Hopefully you did get some value from this video. And if you did, leave it a like. It is free for you. Tremendously helps out the ValleyFlyin channel. And if you want to check out what are the best characters to farm right now in Strike Force, check out the up there. And I'll see you guys next time. Have a great rest of your day. Hulk fist bump, ValleyFlyin out.